Hello beautifuls, welcome back to my Chanel. If you can see the Easter basket here, pay her no mind, she's allergic to tap water and dead. So one of the biggest questions that I get on my YouTube channel is what is my favourite brand of makeup? I actually find this really difficult to answer because I curate every piece in my collection to do its job. That makes it very difficult to pick a favourite. I mean, if you all had children, you wouldn't be like,
oh, Bessie's my favourite, just look at those lashes.
No, you wouldn't, would you? You'd say, I love all my children equally. And although I've not given birth to makeup, I love all of my makeup children equally. However, there are certain brands that I will now no longer be supporting on my YouTube channel and also no longer be spending my hard-earned money with, because you vote with your cash, and I think it is unacceptable that some of these makeup brands are behaving in the way that they are. Today, we are going to talk about some of the worst scandals in the makeup and beauty world, and the ones that I will absolutely not be spending my money with. So, shall we begin? So I guess, first of all, I have to kind of say a little bit of a disclaimer. A, please, if you are a company listed in this video, do not sue me. This information is freely available on the internet, and you can see it on the internet if you really want to go and find it. Like,
come off it, girls. Come off it, girls.
So in saying that, from my office today, we are first going to look at Lime Crime. So Lime Crime is an American makeup company that was founded in the late 2000s. And let me just say, this company is riddled, absolutely riddled with controversy. They're never going to get a penny from me, let's put it this way. So years and years and years ago, I actually did a collaboration with Lime Crime. They sent me a couple of free things and I made like a couple of videos about them. They had some really good products at the time, but since then the controversies are they're just not worth it, sis. My God, are they not worth it. I'm not going to be talking about the founder of Lime Crime in this video because you can go and do your own research on her. She is something else, girls. She's something else. You can go look it up. I'm sure you can find it on the Wikipedia.
Girls.
Essentially, Lime Crime was known for making like brilliant, metallic, bright colours. Their biggest competitor at the time when they were released was Sugar Pill. Now, I'm not going to talk about Sugar Pill in this video because to my knowledge, they don't have any controversies. So Lime Crime first found their fame when they did eye-based products. So these, I don't know why I was doing this. How ridiculous. So their eye-based products were loose pigments. And back in the day, this was like the only way to get really bright metallic colours was to use them in loose pigments. They're also classed as a vegan and cruelty-free company. Now let me say that's probably like where my praises will stop. So the aesthetic of Lime Crime is very like
unicorns, fairies, mysterious forest witches.
I'm not gonna lie, I really do like the aesthetics, but controversies. The first controversy that we're gonna cover by Lime Crime, which is absolutely abhorrent that this is even a thing, is that they took legal action against online critics. People like me making YouTube videos, and if they were saying, you know, I don't really like this product, I don't think it's particularly that good, or I don't think it's really, you know, ideal for this, they would straight up sue you. And that is unacceptable behaviour as a business as far as I'm concerned, because you're gonna have critics. As a business, as a person, as a brand owner, people are going to criticize you and your work. You cannot operate a business in a capitalist society and not expect to receive some level of criticism for your product and your business.
I'm sorry, girls. It's just the tea.
So let me read a little excerpt here. Lime Crime has threatened legal action against various influential bloggers who have given criticism to the brand and its products. These criticisms mostly revolve around the issue of repackaging wholesale pigments for a greater makeup markup and the lack of transparency Lime Crime would provide to their customers regarding this issue. So this is a little bit problematic because private labeling is a thing that occurs in the beauty world. It just does. Private labels make a lot of money. Private laboratories sell their formulations to be repackaged for a huge markup. It's a thing. It happens. If you're going to sue people because they have found out this marketing tactic, that is wherein the problem lies. I can understand that, you know, you want to get through, you want to start your business somewhere, you need to get your colours available. I just don't like the concept of taking something that already exists, doing absolutely nothing to it, putting it in brand new fancy packaging and selling it for thousands of percentage markups. This is not a shady business practice. It actually exists. So you could technically say that this is a diet controversy. Controversy light. Now, the biggest controversy, which actually makes me a little bit sick to my stomach when you think about this with Lime Crime, is their massive data breach that they had in 2015. On the 15th of February 2015, Lime Crime reported on their Instagram account that their website had been infiltrated by credit card hackers Sounds just as serious as it is, girls, because it's pretty serious, you know? People's money, people's hard-earned money. Snatched. The security breach was active from the 4th of October 2014 to the date of the Instagram announcement, supposedly exposing customer data such as names, credit card details, and addresses. However, many patrons of the site claimed that Limecrime was responsible and that they dishonestly handled this credit card leak. Some claimed that the company had knowingly been using an expired SSL certificate in order to secure and store customers' credit card information. It's pretty important when you are running an online store to have a secure method for people to pay with, right? Don't use expired stuff. Goes for makeup, goes for food, goes for cybersecurity on people's credit cards. Now, the way that Limecrime handled this was absolutely appalling because they actually ended up going to a class action lawsuit, and everyone that was affected by this, people were reporting frauds of up to $8,000, like $8,000 to $10,000. That's quite a huge amount of fraud. The majority of people were affected between $100 and $300 worth of fraud. You know, people hacking into their credit cards and using them to purchase things online without their permission. That is one of the biggest things that frightens me because they can drain your account so fast. These unscrupulous, undesirable people. And the way Limecrime handled this was equally as dishonest and unscrupulous because, do you know what? They had the class action lawsuit and they ended up having to pay out $110,000, and most of the class action members won a $44 settlement. Now here's the kicker. Limecrime further offered everyone affected by it a 15% off voucher to spend at Limecrime. And this received such a huge online backlash. Imagine a mugger stealing money from you and then going,
"Oh, here's it all back, girl. Well, just a little bit, here's 10% of what you lost. Oopsie doopsie. I've got sticky fingers, girls."
And then going,
"Oh, but if you still would like to purchase from the bakery that I own, I'll give you a 10% off voucher. Yeah, come along, girls. Get your sourdough."
Absolutely not. What sort of marketing department suggests this? That is a way you're going to lose customers forever, and that is exactly why I will not be purchasing anything from Limecrime. They're not getting a penny from me, Gales. Limecrime have actually been involved in more scandals than that, but I've talked about Limecrime enough on this video now. I don't want it to just be the Limecrime scandal video. So we're going to move on. So the next scandal involves a really well-known skincare brand. Now, you probably won't know these little controversies that this big brand, Nivea Face and Body, have been involved in, because I only really heard about this because Princess Soyeon, who is a loyal little Twitch streamer viewer of mine, and notified me that they'd done this, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. So Nivea is a skincare brand from Germany, and they specialize in body care, skincare, makeup removal, all those wonderful things that we associate with the beauty industry. That's basically where the beauty leaves the room, because the rest of it is not so beautiful. Interestingly enough, I didn't know that Nivea was actually founded in the 1800s, 1882 to be precise, so she's an old woman, she should know better. In fact, it was actually founded by a man, so it's an old man, he should know better. So they have two specific controversies. This first one is a little bit of a weird controversy, because why would this happen? But the second one, sweetie, the second one is rife with homophobia, which is something I just don't expect it from a modern day beauty company. Know your audience. In 2011, Nivea was fined $900,000 by the US Federal Trade Commission for falsely claiming that consumers could slim down by regularly applying Nivea My Silhouette cream to their skin. What did it do? Dissolve your flesh? Absolutely unacceptable to even claim that something applied to the skin is going to slim you down. Actually, losing weight by applying a cream to your skin, unless that cream is literally poisoning you from the outside, no.
No, girl, absolutely not.
In June 2009, marketing and media industry journal Ad Age reported on June 26 that FCB, Nivea's long-term ad agency, had ended its relationship with the company. Among the primary reasons cited was that Nivea's rejection of a proposed ad that featured two men holding hands. Now that's pretty tame if you know me. I know my audience. I've seen you on the websites and I know what you look at on Twitter when nobody's watching. So this ad agency essentially severed ties with Nivea because one of the Nivea executives said,
"We don't do gay at Nivea."
It's absolutely ludicrous that in this day and age, even last year, 2019, that you are excluding a huge customer base that wants to support your industry. The only people that I know in the beauty industry are about 90% LGBT people. We remember when you step on us. We remember when you say nasty things to us. And we remember when you say that we are not accepted in your company or we are not accepted to use your products. We remember. I think it's absolutely appalling that a company in this day and age, something that's been around for, a long time, therefore having to live through 2 world wars, adapt to the time, adapt to the marketing strategies of the times, then comes out and goes, we don't do gay at Nivea. I'm sorry, girls. What? You're awful and you're not getting another penny from me. Crane's Chicago businesses reported that FCP had ended the relationship of more than a century, noting that the breakup occurred at the end of Gay Pride Month. Crane's noted that FCP would be foregoing the management of Nivea's $21.8 million advertising budget. Wow. So that's pretty insane. And I'm actually quite impressed by this, that a company said, we're not standing for you saying that to us. Absolutely not. You're cancelled. Get off Twitter. Get out of my life. Get out of my face. Slam the door. Goodbye.
Bye, Mary. Not interested in your homophobia.
I think things like this make me actually go, okay, the world is changing. The world is improving for LGBT folks. The idea that a big company would turn down like $21 million because of someone's homophobia in an executive position, that like sends a message that's quite important. Even if it doesn't necessarily send a message out in the first world, that sends a message that reverberates around the world, and perhaps even like companies that are operating in places in which homosexuality is illegal, or perhaps even, punishable by death, sends a precedent that like this kind of behavior is not okay. All right, my beautiful. So the next brand that we're going to cover is Kat Von D Beauty, although now known as KVD Vegan Beauty. My goodness, where do we even begin to start with this? This is an absolute poop show from start to finish. Let's go, girls. So even like beside the racism, the anti-Semitism, the like KKK association, she is also an anti-vaxxer. Now, so she's now deleted this Instagram post, but I actually remember seeing this when it came out last year. I believe it was March or February last year when she posted an Instagram post that said that she was going to give birth at home without a doctor or a midwife, and then also said, we will not be giving our child any vaccinations, we will be raising them vegan. Oh my god. See, this really, I don't even know where to go from this, because if you're here and you're an anti-vaxxer, get off this video, don't subscribe to me, don't even talk to me, go read. You need to understand the importance of medical vaccinations, and you need to understand the importance of the research and the science that has gone into vaccinations. The sad thing is, when I was growing up, I really liked Kat Von D. I have a couple of her products, and I really like the aesthetic of this gothic kind of Barbie tattooed up queen, who is actually more like a rabid peasant infected with rabies. That's not true. That's pure speculation, but you never know. She has had a lipstick release called Selection, and the C is substituted with a K, and that is a known KKK reference. I think that is unacceptable, associated with white supremacy. Absolutely no time at all with that. You need to be really educated, Kat Von D. That is disgusting, unacceptable. So she also named a red lipstick Underage Red. Now that to me is just unacceptable. The idea that you could say underage. The thing is, when these people talk about men or whatever, or anyone that's just oh, he just is interested in underage girls. There's no such thing as underage girls. They are children. Stop. She also has a lipstick called Lolita. Honestly, it's a wasp's nest. I'm not even going to go near in this video. No matter how lovely the shade of lipstick Lolita is, it does not excuse the name and the association with the book, which she has claimed is one of her favorites. Yeah, we're not going there. So she also went on to say in her Instagram post,
I already know what it's like to make life choices that are not the same as the majority. So your negative comments are not going to influence my choices. Actual research and educating myself will.
I know she made a post following up saying,
I'm not at all an anti-vaxxer. Girls, I'm perfectly fine.
Well, Kat Von Disease, for some reason, I just don't believe you. It's been a year now, and you've already had your child, and I do wish you to have, a happy lifestyle. But your husband is also of dubious dubious stature. So last year, Kat Von D said that she was distancing herself from her brand. Can you imagine, like, starting a beautiful company? You started your beauty company. It is your absolute dream to own one. It starts to get really successful. Your name is on it. Everyone's loving you. And then suddenly you say something, or you behave in such a way that is so abhorrent that you have to leave your own brand. It's just not on, is it, sis? Now, I do know that KVD Vegan Beauty has, removed Kat Von D. It's removed everything from her. But the problem that I have with it is that sometimes you're still seeing packaging with Kat Von D written on it, and I'm just not into that yet. So it's going to be a couple of years before I even consider investing back in that brand, because for me, it is tarred. It is really tarred with charcoal, if car tar, road tar, feathered tar. However, their Shade and Light palette does look really good, and you know what? Maybe in the future, when it's no longer associated with her at all, I might consider purchasing it. So we're going to end today's video on a weirder, more sort of abstract concept that I can't necessarily prove, but is so suspicious that it absolutely needs to be talked about. So let's get started. Jeffree Star and the lipstick shade in Problematic. Now, I'm finding it really difficult to actually find any sort of hard evidence that this is a thing that happens, but I'm going to present to you a little bit of a case, and let's make our own decisions in the comments, shall we? So, Jeffree Star has been involved in so many scandals, I've literally lost count, girls.
I've lost count. Have you lost count? I've lost count. I don't quite know what's going on.
All I know is that he will not be being promoted on my channel from this point forwards, from like a couple of months ago, whenever the last one was. My God! If you Google his name, you will quite often see the word problematic associated with him. Now, this is in which it gets really, really juicy, because the idea that you can Google someone and be like, is Jeffree Star problematic? Jeffree Star problem? Jeffree Star problematic? Those sorts of phrases. And it would pull up all of Jeffree's scandals. Jeffree Star Cosmetics released a velour liquid lipstick in the shade Problematic. So, this is what I like to call deceptive marketing. There might actually be a real name for this that I'm not fully aware of. Please let me know in the comments if you do know it, because it would be fantastic to be able to accurately describe what this is when a company does it, so that you can point it out when you see it. This, weirdly enough, Walt Disney did this with Frozen as well, because when you could Google Frozen, then it would be like, Walt Disney's head's frozen under the ride, it's a small world after all, or whatever it was, that sort of scandal. Bizarre, but totally also completely legible, if you know what I mean. Especially with that really aggressive marketing campaign for Frozen. I mean, insane. Jeffree Star released a velour liquid lipstick called Problematic. So whenever you would Google Jeffree Star Problematic, this lipstick shade would come up, and all of the photos and all of the screenshots and all of the websites would be related to the lipstick in the shade Problematic, and not actually Jeffree Star being problematic. Now, I have no proof that he was really thinking this, but to be honest, Jeffree is a marketing genius. He's been able to keep his career alive years upon years upon years, just through simply marketing alone. On the surface, it kind of sounds like, it could be a bit of nonsense. Maybe this isn't quite the case. I do genuinely believe that he would be aware enough of these words to actually use them to his advantage. Do you know what I mean? Of course. I mean, if you were a marketing genius, you'd love that sort of marketing, right? Imagine the traffic you must get from a problem, and then being able to somehow carve that from a problem into a marketing strategy that will always give you income. That to me is brilliance, but also incredibly shady business practice. So this also goes along with the Lime Crime scandal / controversy, because Lime Crime have released a velveteen liquid lipstick. I don't know when this was released, but it is, it's telling of perhaps a site-wide problem in the beauty industry. They've released a matte liquid lipstick called Scandal. So whenever you Google Lime Crime Scandal, their lipstick comes up first. And you can be like, oh my God, this deep purple lipstick called Scandal is beautiful. I don't know anything about Lime Crime. Oh They are cleverly undoing negative press by reclaiming the word scandal into this beautiful lipstick product. And I've got it here in front of me. It's a lovely colour, a deep rich plum. I'd love that, but you're not getting a penny from me, sweetie. Do any of you guys know of any other companies that have done something like this? Have they released a product or a shade or something that tries to erase some negative history that they perhaps have and reformulate it, repackage it into a nice little bit of branding goodness that'll make you part with your pennies? Can you think of any brands that do that? Because I would love to hear it. Maybe we can do a part 2. This was a little bit different, but also incredibly cathartic to do. My goodness, I've had some of these thoughts for ages and I just needed to spew them out onto the internet and all into your laps, my children. That was a bit much. I'm very sorry. Okay, beautifuls, it is 9 billion degrees here in London and I'm melting once again because I've got a long sleeve top on like an absolute psychopath. My makeup scandal's coming soon. No, it's not. You will never.
Here are some results from the web.
Excuse me, Google. Be quiet. All right, my lovelies, I want to thank you all so much for being here and joining me for this video. Let me know what you think about doing a part 2 or perhaps turning this into a little mini-series covering some of the juicy gossip that's going on and perhaps actually not even gossip because some of this is really serious stuff. Have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next video, you gorgeous person.